And a happy Memorial Day to you, everyone. We begin the study of Mark this week, and we are very excited that over 50 of you decided to accept the invitation to study the book of Mark over the summer. And so we want to give you a heads up about the book itself, the study guide, and also to give you an introduction to the book, the Gospel of Mark, through this video. And we'll do videos probably every week to enhance your reading and maybe give you some suggestions about how best to address things for the week. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at the study guide, and you'll notice that there's 11 weeks worth of material. And we've broken the book of Mark into 11 units. Each unit is at least a chapter, some are a little bit over a chapter. And what we ask for you to do is to read the weekly passage each day. Most of the time it's going to be about a chapter or two, which should take you a few minutes to do. We want you to read it not just to get through it, but to really to understand it and to digest it. After 7 days of reading the same passage, we want it to become very familiar, and for you to really understand who did what and where, and to really begin to internalize the book of Mark on top of a just head knowledge. The second thing we've done is we've written some study questions. What we want to help you do is to make observations about the Scripture. We want this to be a time where you learn, and we learn together, how to study Scripture. So we haven't given you a bunch of information about Mark. We've asked a lot of questions and want you to make your own observations and draw your conclusions. Now we'll have some time to dialogue about this and that in the book of Mark, and so we don't feel like you're out on your own completely. But we also do realize that the best way to study is for you to study and for us all to study together, making our own observations and looking directly at the text. So really that's what we're hoping for us to do, and we'll do that 1 day a week, have some questions. There'll be 3 days a week, there'll be devotions, or devotional paragraphs that go along with your reading to help us apply the Scripture to our lives. So just to recap, read the weekly passage every day, take 1 day and do the study section, and take 3 days and read the devotions and begin to apply it in your lives. What we are expecting is that it raises a whole lot of questions and some interest in the book of Mark itself, and begins to be more than head knowledge. It begins to seep in, and we begin to internalize things. Now, to give you just a bit of background of the book of Mark before we start, the book of Mark was the first gospel written, so the first biography of Jesus, and it was written by a man named, yep, you probably guessed it by now, Mark. It was written between AD 55 and 65. More than likely, Mark was in Rome at the time, and he wrote it to the Christians in Rome. Now, it's interesting. The first biography written about Jesus was not written by an eyewitness, for Mark was not an eyewitness of Jesus. But Mark did know some people that were very close to Jesus. Mark knew the Apostle Paul and traveled with him for a time on a mission. He knew the Apostle Peter, and more than likely was in Rome when Peter was a captive in Rome, and was in Rome with Peter, and Peter was giving him a lot of the information that he compiled together. So really Mark is more of a compiler than he is a writer. For a lot of these vignettes and the things that are in Mark would have been known by the Christians in that time, because it would have been close enough to the experience of Jesus where these would have been common stories. What Mark was doing is trying to capture for future generations the teachings and the places Jesus went, and who he talked to and what sorts of things he did, so that when the eyewitnesses passed away, there would be a biography, there would be a place that people could go that they could learn all about who Jesus was, what he did, who he walked with, and what his mission was. Hope that provides a little bit of background. What you're going to find is that the Gospel of Mark is fast-paced. There's not long discourses or teaching sections. There's a couple, but for the most part, it's one place to the next, and then Jesus on the next place, and Jesus was here, and he did this, and Jesus went there. It just captures the attention and draws us right in. I think it's a great place for us to begin a concerted study time together. The summer is going to be great. I hope that you'll find some time to rest and to reflect. I hope you'll find some time to focus on the study of Mark. Now, I want to reinforce what we said in the study guide welcome letter. If you get behind, it's okay. We've written this to be modular, so you can jump right back in wherever you need to, and you can catch up with the past weeks later on. So we want you to feel like to use this as best for your schedule and to do what you need to do. But if you do fall behind, don't worry about it. Just catch right back up and move forward with us through the summer. I am looking forward to hearing about what you're learning and how God's working in your life. We'd love any feedback that you'd have for us, whether it's things that are going really well, maybe something we can do to improve. This is our first time to do this, and so we really want your feedback so we'll know for the next time around what's best and how we can improve upon what we're doing. Look forward to seeing you Sunday, if not before.